Today, no ma'am, Bertha. Today's biceps, and the topic is Bertha, quit people pleasing. Remember the idea of 2 P's to please? Well, we're gonna talk at the end, and I will have a discussion about everything on my mind after we've gone through the exercises. The first one is called let's turn it down here. A concentration curl. Okay, next we have Mo Money curl. Mo Money. M-O money. Okay. You kind of shape your arms like a V coming out when you go up. That's what it looks like to me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11. Okay. Still going? Yeah, we're still going. Okay. Next one. Alternating biceps. Now, the Mo Money is different than regular bicep curl because you angle your arms outwards instead of doing it just like this regular. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. Now this is the end of my workout, so I've already done all of these sets almost all the way through. Okay, so then we'll do alternating biceps. Okay, and then grip curls. You hold it like that. And that's another thing that I could pay attention to is how much I try to rush towards the end, because that's going to be in my conversation afterwards as to how the video went the first time I tried to do this. So let me catch my breath and do one more last thing here. Okay. This is the curl bar. I'm not really exactly sure where to put my hands. It kind of feels a little strange. But when I can notice my tendency to want to swing. Okay. All right, now we have the conversation. So, Bertha, quit barking. He can have some food. No, ma'am. You share. Okay, let me catch my breath. The people-pleasing topic. So what happened today? I was going to make the video, and then my inner voice said, okay, so when I decided I was going to make the video, I thought, okay, maybe I should do the weightlifting in the beginning and move the conversation to the end and see how that goes. And then my inner voice said, no, you should probably speak first. And then I gave into it, and I was like, yeah, that's probably right, because I might be rushing through the exercises, trying to hurry up and get to the speaking part. And then the video didn't work. And I'm going to tell you this story after that, because, okay, I said, oh, I'm out of breath. Okay, I said, what did I say? Better to be rejected than falsely accepted. Was that it? I think that was what it was about. Being yourself. It's better to be yourself than to not be yourself when you're trying to be in a relationship. And so if you're trying to imagine who a person wants you to be, and you're giving into that ideation in your mind, instead of just doing what you thought you wanted to do in the first place and going with it, that there's no reason for that extra voice to be telling you to change your mind about a plan that you came up with yourself. That's silly. So be kind of more, this is coaching to myself, be more stern if you do have an inner voice in your head, and be like, look, I came up with this plan myself. Why is there a panel with an opinion about how I should do it? It's made up. A lot of these things are made up. Okay, so before this video started, I saw a picture from Matthew McConaughey that said, as an adult, a hard thing to swallow as an adult is that people pleasing will drain you. So that experience helped go like, okay, that was it. It's better to be rejected. Wait. I thought I had the word mistake in there. That there was no mistake in the lines that I had written. I can't remember because I wrote it all down. Anyhow, with the video not working, that's what I wanted to talk about. There is no mistake when something like that happens. It's a cue to point you in the direction to get yourself together and sort yourself out. And when you take some time to step back and dwell on what is happening, instead of thinking this is some fluke of a thing happening that wasn't supposed to happen, you need to reevaluate and try and look for more guidance in a situation. So, I'm going to keep working it through these things. Okay, I feel like I want to get closer. Let's see if I can turn around the other way. When I saw that from Matthew McConaughey, every time I see a quote, Bertha quits. Every time I see a quote from, she's guarding the food over there for some reason. She don't want anybody else to eat out of the bowl, which I don't know. I don't know why. There's 3 bowls of dog food over there. But anyway, see if I can pay attention. I saw the picture from Matthew McConaughey and about the swallow, and it caught my attention because I had recently written a poem about Wren and the Swallowbirds, or spoke about the poem. I didn't write that one down, I don't think. Yeah, I did write it down, but I didn't write it down on my posts. I have it written down in my notebook. But Bertha! This is showing you about my attention span. I suppose there's another level of understanding here. Where am I going? Okay. Bertha, sit by me if you want to. I looked Matthew McConaughey's. I just Googled, I just typed his name in the search bar and to see what he's up to. And he had some alphabet letters that said Mama Can, like for Mother's Day, on his Instagram. And then he had a picture of his mother, who had light blonde hair and the dark eyeliner around her eyes, and that reminded me of how I used to do my makeup. And then I had said a long time ago that one of my children would be named Kathleen because it rhymes with Abilene, and I like it. It was either Kathleen or with the E in between, or I changed it up a few times, but I noticed that because that was not information that I had. I was in my head trying to put things together, and the other daughter that I wanted was supposed to be named Mac. And so that all caught my interest with looking at Matthew McConaughey's work he had been doing, and it also caught my interest in looking at Tom McDonald and Nova's work, and that 2 P's to please was what I thought of when he did that song about maybe we're perfect but probably not. And then they also had the song where they were in the back of the truck, and Nova had on an Illinois shirt, and it's hard for me to remember all the lyrics, but those 2 songs were very heart touching to me. There were several songs that were, but and if we bring up the topic about you have to choose who your favorite is between these people, I wouldn't be able to do that. I felt like I connected. I really connected. I thought Tom and Nova were very sweet with what they had put together. And then also I really enjoyed Matthew McConaughey's book, The Green Lights. And I like the part about, I like how he talks about his parents and how he likes to be motivational. And I started thinking about how there are men in the world who do like to be supportive like fathers, and that is something that makes me feel good when you feel supported, like a go kind of way. And then you also feel like you feel good about what they're doing also. It's a two-way kind of thing, even though I'm going around saying that everybody is going to, I mean, a lot of people are going to be my family members. That's like, oh well, maybe it's true. Who knows? But it makes you feel good when you see something that you like that another person is doing, and you can bring, or you can see some of those things in yourself. And the other part of the story was that Camilla, I think that's how you pronounce his wife's name, Matthew McConaughey's wife. When you look at the word Mama Can, then you think, oh, he made that like that for a reason. And then also I thought of Simon Indigo, who was the child that I didn't know if was going to be Matthew McConaughey's grandson, or Tom and Nova's son-in-law, grandson-in-law, son-in-law, one or the other. I didn't know, but there was also something where I saw Chris Webby next to Tom McDonald asking who would win. And it's like that thing where you're trying to, all these pictures that come up where you're trying to choose one side or the other, which is better. I don't like doing stuff like that because I find appreciation in people in different ways. And it's like you've given me children and asked me to pick my favorite, and I can't do that. I can't do that. Who wants to be my child? Or who wants to be my family member is the better question. And how are you going to be towards your end of your side of the family to make sure this family is successful? Those are the kinds of things I'd be curious about. But so, oh yeah, the conversation with my mother. Since we are one day past Mother's Day. After I thought about what my mother said to me when I called her earlier and asked her for a compliment, and she said that something about how I was she thought it was good that I was able to do plumbing and electricity for my own house. And I at first thought that was not that big of a deal. And anybody could do that kind of thing, and it wasn't unique to myself. But then if you rethink about that, and you do add the symbolism as to you're able to do your own connections in your head and your flow state. Because the water connection started as to why the water was more than being about water, because of my dad's logo for his swimming pool. He said, "Our reputation holds water," which then I was like, okay, the word water is about the truth. So if you take all of that, and when something seems rather simple, or like somebody did not want to put too much thought into something, you can take those things and throw magic dust on your head and try and really figure out what it is that you are trying to do. The 2 P's to please, we noticed in Matthew McConaughey's new book also. And as far as Samantha Olivia goes and me trying to figure out who came up with that name, y'all are going to have to probably tell me, because I know that it was very strong. It was a very, somebody really wanted that name, and I just didn't know who for a daughter to be born. And like if you rearrange the letters to look at it, it would look like it fits very well with the McConaughey's. But I also wondered about Tom McDonald. Now, I'm totally open to having lots of children. That's what I want. That's what I've wanted since I was in figured that out when I was in graduate school. That's my dream. And as far as can that happen? It could, but I have to be able to talk about things honestly instead of trying to slink around and pretend like there's not anything suspicious going on. That word pronoia, that was it, pronoia. The idea that I think that idea came from the book Green Lights too. He might not have used that word, but the idea that the universe is conspiring in your favor instead of against you. It's the opposite of being paranoid. It's in your favor. It's just working the magic dust to make all these things happen. So my ultimate, what above being able to know how to do agriculture so I can teach my family what it's like to know how to grow their own food, I want a large family. That's my main dream that I've had, that whenever I said that I wanted to be the old lady who lived in a shoe with so many children she didn't know what to do. That's my ultimate thing in life. And I don't want that to be like taken from me to be made into something that is not about me, where I feel like somebody's turned that into something else that it is not. That's actually what I want to do. I want to have a lot of children. And that was one of the things that I contemplated when I got the breast implants out, was that is a really good sacrificial thing, because I get to start a family with my real chest and have this, okay, they look really good. They look really good. And then what am I going to do? And get myself in shape and all this stuff. I'm going to be completely fine with sacrificing the way that my body looks for my children. And that idea feels good to me, that it was not about looking so beautiful for my husband. It was about the love involved in what we were doing. That's the number one takeaway from that situation. And I think it feels so much better to do that to have done that operation before, and instead of having all the children and then having to be pulled away from them and going to get the implants out afterwards, and it wouldn't have had that correct, accurate, sort of heartfelt gesture involved if I had done it any other way. And so I think that my advice to myself about just telling the universe or telling the world what it is that you want, instead of trying to play it like that I'm okay with anything, which is not the truth, that I have to actually say what it is that I want most. Now, there's a lot of things that I have in mind about how I want to structure the homeschooling and all of that stuff within the family unit. But the big thing is the big family and the husband I love, and I can be rather flexible about that, but that's today's conversation. The husband, I believe, is real, if I'm allowed that choice. Now, as far as the children go, those, like, who wants to do it? Okay, that's the question. Who wants to do it? And what are you gonna put? What are we gonna do together? It's like, okay, so there once was an old lady who lived in a shoe, who had so many children she didn't know what to do. Do you think it's a coincidence that I have these little creatures here that have taught me a lot about being able to love multiple beings? Love. Love, 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 love. Be confident. Be confident. Be confident. Be confident in your goals.